Hey everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create this kinetic type animation in Adobe After Effects. So without further ado, let's start. Alright, so here we are inside of Adobe After Effects and now let's begin. So I'm going to click on new composition to set up a composition and I'm going to call it main. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to leave the width and height on 1920 by 1920. The frame rate is set on 24 frames per second and the duration is of course on 10 seconds. So let's hit OK. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to go towards the type tool. I'm going to write the word client. And now let's align it to the middle. Now I usually use the Rock Grotesque font because it has many weights, but the Babel's new also works fine. So I'm just going to change the font to expanded theme. And now let's just extend it. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to duplicate it, and this time I'm going to set it on extra bold. This seems fine, and let's just increase it about here. I'm going to set it on 60 and 650, and I'm same as the second layer. That's good. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to create shapes from these two text layers. And then what we can do is that we can delete the original layers. We can align them to the middle. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to go towards the crazy shapes and I'm going to set some path keyframes. And then I'm going to copy these second sets of keyframes and then I'm going to paste it for the first set of keyframes at 1 second. So we will have something like this. We don't need this second layer. So this is good. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to go towards the 2 seconds and I'm going to stretch this text. I'm going to just get back to the line tab. But first let's fix the position one more time because this is important. I'm going to make sure that I will align it to the middle. Now also I'm just going to push it a bit in here. That's nice. And now what I'm going to do is that on 2 seconds, I'm just going to select the path and I'm going to push them upwards like this. And then I'm going to select one of these sets of points and I'm going to push them down like this. And now let's just adjust the E letter. So I'm just going to select it and I'm going to push it around here. Same as the second one. This should be fine. Okay, so we'll have something like this, and then this, and lastly I'm gonna finish the loop like this. Now let's set the easings on 90%, and now let's watch. Great. This seems good. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna pre-compose this text, and I'm gonna call it text. Now on the next step, what we need to do is that we need to create a displacement effect. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to create a new layer to make a solid. And I'm going to call it displacement. Alright, that's nice. Now the effect I'm going to use for this video is the fractal noise. I'm just going to add the fractal noise. I'm going to change it to cloudy. And also I'm gonna change the noise type to spline. Let's also change the complexity to 12. And what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna set a keyframe on evolution. I'm gonna set a time multiplied by 500. So this is going to be our effect, which is nice. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna add a time displacement effect. And I'm going to set it on displacement. Let's change the source to effects and masks. I'm going to set it on 0.5 and I'm going to set the time resolution to 250. Let's hide the displacement so we can see the result. And also I'm going to change the render mode to quarter because I want to have a faster render. Great. This is exactly what we want. Now, what I'm going to do on the next step is that I'm just going to add a warp effect. And let's change the warp style to inflate. And let's decrease the bend to 50. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to set a keyframe on bend, and exactly on 1 second and half, I'm just going to bend it for like, let's say minus 50. So we will have something like this. And then on 3 seconds, when it reaches almost at here, I'm just going to bring it back to its original position. And I'm going to set the easings on 90% as well. So we'll have something like this. However, I need to adjust the timing, so I'm just going to push it a bit down. And then this to here. So let's just decrease the easings to 40%. This is too rough. Okay, that seems nice. I'm still gonna play. So when it's in here, I want to have the bend. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that is nice. Let's set the easings on 65%. That is great. Now on the next step, we can add a fill effect. So we can change the fill. So I'm gonna set it on orange color. Great. And now I'm gonna duplicate this text. I'm gonna push this one beneath, and I'm gonna call it the echo. And as you have guessed it, I'm just gonna add an echo effect for the text that is beneath the main one. I'm gonna push the echo to here. I'm gonna set the echo time to 0.005 minus 0.005. I'm gonna change the number of echoes to 50, and then I'm gonna decrease the starting intensity to 0.80, and then I'm gonna increase the decay to something like 85. And also let's change the color to white so we can see it. Now let's preview. Great, that is nice, but we can still stylize it further. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna select the second text. I'm gonna right click on it in layer styles. I'm just gonna add a stroke effect. Now let's reveal the stroke. I'm gonna set the stroke to inside, and I'm gonna change its color so we can set it on here. And we can also increase the stroke a bit. So now it will be even stylized further, which is quite nice. Now we can push this text even further by adding a deep glow. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna add a deep glow, and then I'm just gonna change the radius to like 400, and let's just turn down the exposure by 10%. That is nice. We can also add it for the second echo, but as you see, it won't give, it's getting too shiny, so I'm not gonna do that. So that is nice. Let's just play with the color a bit. All right, that is nice. Now that we are finished with our main text, it's time to add the background. So I'm gonna create a new solid. I'm gonna call it background, and now let's add the gradient ramp effect. And I'm gonna set it for now to a black color, and then in my preset tab in my project panel, I'm gonna add the texture. And now let's set the mode on soft light. We also need to add a curves effect. I'm gonna push it a bit towards down the white spots, so that is nice. And then I'm gonna add the texture in here, and then I can add the invert effect to remove the black spots, and then I'm gonna just blend it with the original. And also let's set it on screen so we can see the text. Lastly, let's add a curves and push it towards the dark channel to remove some of the spots, and we will have something like this. Now also we can add a post-write time, and we can set it on 80 to get a cartoonish look. So this is going to be our final result, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave out a like and subscribe to the channel, as it will help me out a lot for future content. Thank you so much. Goodbye.